your audio is fine. I can see you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mohit. And thank you very much to NASSCOM and DSCI for inviting me to this session. Frankly, we have been planning this session since last year. And I was not, frankly speaking, I was not very sure that what would a person mainly working on biodiversity conservation or preventing wildlife crime would be a fit in a conference which is primarily based on technological solutions. But then I realized that technology is a major role nowadays in curbing illegal wildlife trade and wildlife crime. And then came the COVID crisis, and then we realized that probably nature conservation is everyone's business. It's not just a wildlife conservationist or biodiversity conservationist business. So I thought it would be a nice platform where we can talk about biodiversity conservation, what problems we are facing in biodiversity conservation, how technology is helping, and how technology can help. So this would be my topic. I will be taking slight liberty that I'll be talking more generally on biodiversity conservation, and then before coming to focusing on wildlife crime. So I am about to start my screen. Mohit, do let me know, give a hands up if you can see my screen.
Able to see the screen, able to see the presentation.
Yeah. Now you can see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. And it is in full screen mode now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So I'll be talking about stopping wildlife crime. He is helping and can help in future. But as I said in the start that I'll be taking a bit liberty to talk about biodiversity conservation in a broader way. Also how businesses are being impacted because of this and how businesses can help. Okay. So my presentation would be primarily divided into a few sections, which is like the biodiversity challenges which we are facing, use and abuse, how we are abusing biodiversity, what has been bestowed on us from nature, why should we bother, and here we as businesses or technological companies or technocrats who are working in this field, why we should bother about biodiversity, wildlife crime and the need to curb it. Can technology help? And here I would also give few examples where technology is already helping in curbing illegal wildlife trade and also stopping biodiversity losses. And then I'll also be talking about, are there opportunities for business in this sector? So first of all, before we talk about the grim picture, let us see that what we have been bestowed with. So what is biodiversity? In plain and simple word, it is everything natural, which is beautiful all around us. Every plant, animal, insects, everything around us, microorganisms, everything biodiversity is not restricted to any particular area. We see biodiversity or we have biodiversity all across the planet, whether it is terrestrial area, whether it is marine, whether it is air, even in areas which are under permanent ice and also deep in the ocean, we have a rich biodiversity or rich flora and fauna species which are inhabiting these areas. So in short, biodiversity is what makes Earth beautiful. And these are the examples, few examples, few snapshot. It's not that biodiversity is restricted only to few areas which are protected areas or forest. We have biodiversity everywhere, even in cities, even in air, everywhere. So this is what biodiversity is. And this is what we have been bestowed by nature. Now, before we move again to a more grim situation, let's see that how India is blessed, how India has a diverse, rich flora and fauna, and which we should be really proud of that we have been blessed with this. India, as we all know, accounts for only 2.4% of global landmass. But our biodiversity, or if I can talk about the diversity which we have, is 7 to 8% of world's biodiversity in this small area landmass of 2.4%. We are one of the 17 mega diverse nations. Now, mega diverse nations are those nations or those areas where we have ample biodiversity or more diversity in biological resources. So India is again fortunate to be one of biodiverse countries. We have plenty of fishes, amphibians, reptiles, bird species, mammalian species, everything, and a sizable population of what we find globally. We are also home to very rare and endangered species. Now, we all know about tigers. India has approximately 70% of bird tiger population, wild tiger population. Again, a thing to be proud of. We have a very good population of Asiatic lion, which is, we are the only country which has Asiatic lions. We do have African lions in Africa, in several countries in Africa, but Asiatic lions are only restricted to India. Again, we have a good population of Asiatic elephants. Again, we have approximately 70% of Asiatic elephants which are there. Again, we do have two species, in fact 3 species, but 2 species are found only in Africa, and Asiatic elephants are found in Asia. So we have 70% of Asiatic elephants in the wild. We also have a very good population of Indian rhinoceros. Now, I'll start with a positive thing, that we have been doing some really successful work in as far as species is concerned, and our population of tiger, lion, elephant, rhinos are either stable or they are increasing. So that's a good point. But then we should also see that when we have been bestowed with such a beautiful biodiversity, what are we doing? Very unfortunate thing that, in fact, I can say that the results are for everyone to see. In a span from 1970 to 2016, we have lost up to 68% of vertebrate biodiversity, vertebrate population, vertebrate wild population, with a global figure. And this comes from the Living Planet report, which WWF does, 2020 report. We also have approximately 75% of Earth's ice-free land surface has been significantly altered. And we means our oceans are polluted. Assume that in few years or in the next decade or so, we'll have more plastic in ocean than we have fishes in ocean. So that's how we are doing. And 85% of wetlands are already gone. So these are very grim situations which we are facing. Now, who is responsible for this? Humans, unfortunately, are one of the single biggest source for all this biodiversity loss. In fact, human population, which represent only 0.01% of living biomass. Just imagine, just 0.01% of living biomass on Earth, but we are responsible for loss of 83% of all wild mammals and half of all plants on Earth. Now, this is means for everyone to see. And the World Economic Forum, in its latest 2020 Global Risk Report, documents all of this. And as you can see from this infographic, which is again taken from the Global Risk Report, we can see that every aspect of ecosystem, I should say, whether it is territorial ecosystem, oceanic ecosystem, or species, they are being impacted. And there are a few figures which are like really shook. As I already told you that 68% of population of vertebrate species are declining since 1970s. 83% population of freshwater species are declining. 41% of known insect species have declined. Now, I would just for a few who can remember old days, when we used to have insects all around us. In fact, they used to be in such a number that we used to get irritated. But just imagine what has happened to these insects. Now we don't find insects even in villages. Leave the urban situation. Okay, and what it is leading to? We know that insects, especially bees and other insects, they are responsible for pollination. So, pollination of crops across the globe. And it is estimated that if the bee population, if pollinators population go down, we will have severe food crisis also in future, because there won't be any way where these pollens or these pollens can be transmitted or pollination can happen in the crops, in the food crops. So that is what we are looking at. Okay. Now, its impact on global economy. or how economy is impacted if we are losing biodiversity, how economy or the global economy is impacted by this. Now the graphs or information displayed here can represent or can show this very clearly. The 97 and 2011, world lost estimated 4 to 20 trillion per year US dollars in ecosystem services and 6 to 11 trillion per year due to land degradation. Again, the infographic is from the global report from the global risk report from World Economic Forum, and you can see that biodiversity loss is projected or has been defined as the third or among the top 5 long risk factors. Okay. In fact, if you watch it closely, this graph again, which is from World Economic Forum's global risk report, you will see that in the top 10 risks, 5 are from natural causes. So this shows that how much economy, how much the global economy is impacted, is getting impacted because of biodiversity loss, and in future also the role of global biodiversity loss on economy is going to be higher. Again, there is one report which the data is projected on one side, which is Global Futures Report by WWF, and it shows that how much we are losing, or how much in monetary terms we are losing because of biodiversity loss. So this is very well, we can very well say that biodiversity loss is impacting economy in every front. Now this Global Future Report was done in, it came out in Feb of this year, Feb 2020. I seriously imagine what would have been this report if it would have come maybe in August, September or October kind of thing, because during this time, this is, just imagine this is pre-COVID time, because during this time, after this report came in Feb, we were impacted with something which none of us were prepared for. Neither businesses were prepared, nor public health systems were prepared, nor scientists were prepared. We are still trying to find out a vaccine. We were impacted by probably, and hopefully the worst means I hope that no worse disaster than this comes and hits humanity in future. So this was a disruption which impacted, I think, every aspect of our life, whether it is economy, whether it is normal life, whether it is jobs, whether it is new businesses, everything was impacted. Now, when we talk about COVID-19, scientists are still, the jury is still out to find out that how this virus jumped from animals to humans. But few things are very clear so far, that it jumped from a wild species to humans, and then the human to human started. And so this is a zoonotic disease. Now, zoonotic diseases are those diseases which jump from animals to humans. So this is one of the zoonotic diseases. The fact about this is zoonotic diseases are nothing new. So we already have too many zoonotic diseases. In fact, it is said that 75% of all new and emerging diseases, infectious diseases, are zoonotic in nature. So that means that diseases were there, zoonotic diseases were there, whether it is Nipah virus, whether it is Zika virus. So all these things, SARS, even HIV, all of them are zoonotic diseases which jump from animals to humans. So they were there, and they are going to be there in future also if we are not prepared or if we are not ready to face them. Second problem, which is clearly highlighted, that cause of COVID-19 is land use change and deforestation. Because of the land use change, which is primarily from forest to agriculture, and deforestation, the wild animals came in contact with close contact with human beings. And then there is likelihood that the virus has illegal wildlife trade or wildlife crime, where these wild animals are extracted from wild. They travel long distances from one area of the globe to another area, and then where there are likelihood that humans can pick these infections from there. So now these are clear causes that these are responsible for this. Now I would say that in this first zoonotic diseases, We can control, we can mitigate, but we can't completely stop their spread. We can be prepared and we can mitigate it, but we can't completely stop their spread. But the other two reasons are well under our control, and if we take right measures, we can easily control land use change, irrational, and also control or combat illegal wildlife trade and wildlife crime. Now, how to do this? We'll talk about this. But broadly speaking, what is wildlife crime? So wildlife and forest crime is the illegal exploitation of bird, wild flora and fauna. Now I'll request you to focus on wild. So this is not about domestic animals or animals which are being domesticated by us, but this is about the wild flora and fauna. Flora is plants and fauna are animals. Okay, no problem. Don't we have measures to stop this? Or don't we have laws or legal instrument to stop this? So answer is yes, we do have. We have a very good and very wonderfully drafted Wildlife Protection Act. I'm talking about India, which is primarily to combat illegal trade and also about maintenance of wildlife reserves, wildlife protected areas. So that comes under Wildlife Protection Act. The Indian Forest Act 1927, it was framed in 1927. It is about better management of forest and also sustainable harvesting of products from forest. And then we have the Wildlife Conservation Act, which is primarily regulates the indiscriminate diversion of forest land for non-forestry activities. So we have these prominent laws in the country. We have several others, but these are the prominent laws. And along with this, we also have several international obligations, international conventions, which also control, I would say, unsustainable harvest of wildlife and also their illegal transport from one region to another region. So we have a convention which is known as Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna. India is signatory to it. Then we have wildlife enforcement networks. We have Convention on Conservation of Migratory Species and also Convention on Biological Diversity. So these are all international conventions to which India is also a party, and we are working on these lines. Okay, but because even after this, the status of wildlife poaching in India, and this is also reflective of the global position. In fact, there are few areas in a few regions in where this situation is even much worse. Okay, but just talking about India, restricting ourselves to India, we, as I said, that we have a good biodiversity, but we also face a lot of poaching and a lot of, I would say, a snapshot of what we are facing. Now, these numbers are not like confirmed numbers. There can be even higher or lower kind of thing. So, but this gives us a good indication that what we are facing as far as wildlife crime and wildlife poaching is concerned. Now, I would like to drag your attention because we all talk about tigers, elephants, leopards, and others, but sometimes we don't talk about other species which we often call that they don't get that much attraction. And two examples are sharks. So in 2014, it was estimated that 70,000 tons of shark was extracted or fished. Okay, India is in fact the third largest extractor, or I can use the term killer of sharks killed in Indian waters. And also the other infographic which I want to drag your attention to is towards turtles. So there was one report which traffic did in last year. So we found that between 2009 and 2019, more than 1 lakh turtles and tortoises were seized across the country. Okay. Now we know that either in any crime or in any criminal cases are only a fraction of what actually is happening. So you can just imagine that if we have reports of more than 1 lakh seizures in just 10 years, just you can imagine how much this trade might be going. Okay. Now wildlife crime operates. Okay. Why should we be concerned? So there are source countries which are primarily rich in biodiversity, and then there are demand countries. Products are being used. Okay. Now this is a very, I would say, complex but very simple solution. So, a link which we can see here, that they are poached in source countries, then they are transported to countries where they are demanded. So this transportation of either wildlife as such or wildlife products, transportation system, which is like cargo, which is like air ships, and even ships, and it reaches ultimately to the consumer in these demand countries. Now, again, internet is playing a major role, because a lot of trade is happening over internet, and also a lot of financial transaction is also happening through internet, and that is again creating a problem. So this is making this web even more complex, how this is happening. So again, I emphasize that generally the source areas, source countries are different and demand countries are different, but there is easy transportation of wildlife material and trade from one country to another country. Okay. The major issues which a wildlife crime investigator or somebody who is working to curb illegal wildlife trade faces are, first of all, is monitoring. That what is happening in illegal wildlife trade sector, how is moving from one area to another area, and keeping an eye on these. Now you can understand that with so many species and globally, a lot of people who want to trade these species, this monitor. The second problem is how to collect the data and how to analyze this data, because again, it's a humongous task. The third problem which enforcement agencies or investigators face is in identification, because with so many species of even fishes, of turtles and tortoises, it becomes slightly difficult for wildlife crime investigators to identify that whether it is prohibited for trade or it is allowed for trade. So that becomes a problem. And third is traceability. Suppose because we know that species, they don't exist in just one geographical area. So we have elephants which are found across Asia, Asiatic elephants, we have African elephants. So if turtles are present across the globe, so if a turtle is moving from one area to another area, and if it is intercepted, how do we know that it is coming from area where it is not prohibited, first of all, and which area it is coming from? So that becomes a problem. So these are four major problems. Why I'm highlighting, there are others also, but why I'm highlighting these four are that in these four problems, technology has already played an important role and can play important role. I'll be talking about those. Technological interventions are already helping, but as I said also that we need a lot of technology interventions in this field. I'll be quickly going through few successful stories or case studies where technology is helping. First of all, very interesting one is, first of all, as I told you, that monitoring of consignments, of monitoring of animals moving from one part of the globe to another part of the globe by traffickers becomes a challenge. Satellite technology is being used to control this. One example is the PandaSat. Now, PandaSat is a collaboration of WWF and other universities and other players in this field, where a small satellite has been developed, okay, which is like a satellite which can be used to track the movement of wild animals and also illegal wild area to another area. How it operates is these satellites, which are very small satellites, they are posted in, they are placed in the air, and they are tagged with very small chips. And now using these satellites, we can monitor the movement of chip, and along with this, we can monitor that where these illegal products are moving, so that we know that how this product or any illegal product crosses boundaries, crosses regions across the globe, and from where it is originating, from where it is ending, so that we know we have a better understanding of chain. of supply chain of these products and who are using these products. So that is how PandaSet is helping, or is likely to help. It is a kind of prototype. It is still to be used at a larger level, but a very successful prototype. So how, as I said, how it will help is, this is one example where we have a species of parrot, which is known as African grey parrot. Now it is a very popular exotic pet also in India, but unfortunately, because of fulfilling demand at the pet market or exotic pet market, these parrots are extracted from wild. And the extraction is to such an extent that if I take example of Congo, so it is where it is found. It is seen that in last few decades, up to 90% population decline of African grey parrots has spotted. Their natural habitat, but they are extracted in huge numbers from there, and that's why in these areas are crashing. And that is similar for many other species also. Because of which the natural population of these species in these particular areas are crashing. Now, how this satellite technology can be used is, you can put tags which are not easily seen. If you can put these tags on these birds, and if a consignment of birds originate from one area or these birds are extracted from wild, so we can easily trace that where they are being traded, how they are being transported, and we can also probably, hopefully, pinpoint the groups which are doing this, or the smugglers who are doing this. So that is how satellite technology can be helped. Okay, about data collection and data analysis. Now, as I said that there are the amount of amount of trade of wild species is humongous. That it is huge. I'll give you an example of a shark trace app which Traffic has developed with other collaborators, now how this app is helping is, we know that in our coastal areas, hundreds and thousands of ships, they go out in ocean, they fish, and it is practically impossible for anyone to track which all fishes are being brought from which areas and how this fish moves in the supply chain. So what happens is, often a lot of illegal products or illegal the fishes from illegal sources also get mixed up in the legal supply chain, and it becomes very difficult for anyone to access that fact, which is known as Shark Trace app, has been developed and is being used in Indonesia, will be used shortly in India also, where everyone on the supply chain, whether it is the fishermen who are going out, whether it is the stock piling, the store, so that we can again trace that from where it is originating. So that is how the Shark Trace applications looks like. And as I said, that every part of supply chain can use it, and we can get this data, and it will help in analysis of this data what we are getting. So this will this is going to help us in tracing this back. Okay, data. Okay, now where we want of technological companies like all of us in this big data analysis. Now, as I told you that thousands of boats, they go out in open seas and they fish. And then not many people are involved in this. Who also develops is not easily, it would be difficult to analyze that unless we use some kind of data analytical techniques or big data analysis kind of thing. We are also developing our international database related to wildlife crime. So there are few databases which are mentioned here, but again, we would require better technologies, better data analytical skills, which means those who are working in this field can come up, have a better understanding about the trade, and also, if possible, a kind of predictive trade that where these poaching, which route they follow, kind of thing. So these can be an interesting way forward in which technological companies can help a lot, and ultimately it will help in biodiversity conservation. Okay. Another technology which is which is helping us is DNA technology. We know, again, the example is again taking sharks as an example. We have more than 500 species of sharks across the globe. Many of them are critically endangered, and that's why we have put them under different laws. So in Wildlife Protection Act and CITES, there are different species. Trade and poaching of or even catching of these fishes are restricted. But now the problem which we face Mohit, is it audible now?
Yes, sir. Now it is audible.
Give me the presenter again, because
Yeah, one second.
and can you also guide me from the till when my presentation was? Where were we when we lost the connection? So we are on
Sir,
the slide.
just can you go a little
Okay.
down?
We were on the same slide, PCR test for sharks.
22nd.
And Saket, am I audible?
To check that where were we last when we lost the connection?
Slide number 22.
22nd slide.
Slide 22.
22.
Yeah. Okay. So here, you mean to say here, right?
So, sir, we are not able to see the presentation.
Okay.
Yeah. Can see the presentation. Yes. Dr. Saket, you are on mute.
Okay, now, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'm on the right slide.
Yes, on 27th slide. Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Can you see the slide now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all good to go. So I was talking about how DNA technology is helping, and we have too many species of sharks. Not all of them are under
Click on the full screen option.
Sorry,
You can click on the full screen option in the presentation.
I have clicked on the full screen option. Maybe there is a lag.
Okay.
How is it now?
No, sir.
Not yet. Just let me stop sharing once again and let me share it again.
Yeah.
Can you see it now?
Sir, it's still the same.
Still the same means you can't see it on.
Not the full screen.
Okay, but is it moving? Just check.
Sir, no, it is on still the same slide number 22.
So the slides are moving? No.
No, sir.
Sorry, then there is some other issue. Mohit, just check. I've sent you the slides. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay. So what I'll do is, sorry, without using slide, I'll go forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah. So I was talking about how a DNA technology is helping. So we have more than 500 species of sharks. Okay, but we only few of them are restricted or they are prohibited from trade. So how DNA is helping, similar to, because we all know now about DNA technology after RT-PCR, which is going on under again COVID. So this helps us in identifying which particular species of shark is being traded, or which identifying which species of shark this is, so that if they are under prohibited list, we can easily control them, or we can apply all the legal packing or legal problems or legal towards this. So that is how it is helping. Now, University of Florida has developed a very rapid DNA test PCR, which is being used, and this is helping in rapid investigation or rapid understanding or rapid identification of which particular species of shark is there in this product. And these products can be just in the form of meat, or they are just plain fins. So that is how it is helping. Another technology which is helping or which is being used is blockchains. Now you all know about blockchains. Blockchains are being used. So there is something known as OpenSC or open supply chain, which is ensuring a bait to plate kind of supply chain for fishes. Now this helps us because we know that in blockchain the data cannot be tampered with. So this is helping us in tracing the supply of these fishes from a particular region, so that we know that these fishes have been extracted from a region or from an area where they are legally allowed to extract. They have followed a legal supply chain and they are coming to us on our plate using that supply chain. So that's how blockchains are also helping us. Okay. Now talking about, I'll just tell you towards the end just two stories of success which we have so far seen. Okay, one is a very popular success story which I can say is tracking of tigers in India or estimation of tigers in India. Now we since 2006 we follow a all India tiger estimation process, in which the National Tiger Conservation Authority along with Wildlife Institute of India and the State Forest Department, they use the latest technologies of data collection, of analysis of tiger photographs, and analyzing this data to predict that how many tigers we have. Now what happens in this is we deploy camera traps, which are automatic cameras in forest areas. They take photographs of tigers passing in front of them, and then we compare these photographs to find out which particular tiger this is. Okay, and then we come to the estimation that how many tigers we have across the country. Now this is a huge exercise. In fact, it is such a big exercise that this time our this camera trap exercise for tiger estimation has entered Guinness Book of World Record. So for this cycle, which completed in 2018-19, we have trapped, we put cameras in more than 26,000 locations across the country, which covered more than 1,21,000 square kilometers of areas. During this exercise, we trapped more than 76,000 images of tigers. These are more than what tigers we have, because one tiger can give many images or can pass in front of that camera many times. Okay, and using this, we found that we have approximately 2,900 tigers in the country, which is one of the, as I said, the largest population of wild tigers across the globe. Now, the technology which we used in this was one is known as mStripe, which is like a mobile phone, mobile app, which collects data from field, or which forest guards can use to collect data. Then we have automated softwares to compare these images, and then the latest software for analyzing this data. So it is a very technological driven exercise which is helping us in estimation of tigers. So that is one success story which we have. Another success story which I would like to mention is that we have seen that in the recent times, a lot of illegal wildlife trade has moved to online platforms. So whether it is instant messenger sites, whether it is social media platforms, so all these traders are using all these online platforms to trade, and that is a concern for us because it is not easy to track all these trading which is happening on internet sites. So now what we have done, or what attempts have been made, that in a global attempt which was coordinated by Traffic, by WWF and IFAW, there is a coalition to end wildlife trafficking online. And we are so glad to inform you that many of the internet companies, many leading internet companies, it includes Facebook, it includes Google and likes, have joined this coalition. So now what this coalition is doing is they are keeping an eye on what illegal wildlife trade is happening on internet, and they are flagging these illegal products which are there online. And to such an extent, the benefit of this is to such an extent that more than 3 million posts have been removed from internet which were dealing with illegal wildlife products. So that is the success, and that is one success stories where if all of us come together, wildlife conservationists, tech collaborators, tech companies, they come together, I think we can make a dent and we can control illegal wildlife trade across the globe. As towards the end, in the last, I would also say that we are using technologies, we are using these technological interventions, but we need to do more. Technology is just a tool. We need more users who can use it to give better products and also adopt it. And here I would say support from all of you who are working in technological field or who are working in software field or other fields can help us and can come together to help us in controlling illegal wildlife trade. And also I would say, if not completely stopping, which doesn't look likely in next future, but at least we can slow the loss of biodiversity loss, because ultimately this is what will keep us live and which will keep us healthy in future, and also prevent any other issues, any other problems like COVID-19 in future. So that's my point. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry about not being able to share the slides, but I'll be happy to take questions if there are any. Thanks, Mohit.
Yeah. So, sir, there is one question. Hello.
Yeah, Mohit, please go ahead.
Question. I'll just speak here. So it's how much are we using drone technology to catch the culprits?
Okay, thank you. That's a brilliant question. I would say two aspects of this. We are using drones quite a lot. We are using drones for even wildlife estimation. We are using drones to see that how our forests, or if there are any degradation of forest or something in our reserve forest areas. We are also using drones to track movement of wildlife from one area to another area, especially when they become there is a conflict between humans and wildlife. We are to some extent using drones for anti-poaching operations also, but so far they have not been of that much success, primarily because first of all, when we see that the cameras which we are using, it is difficult to penetrate the thick canopy which we have. We have also tried with few thermal cameras, but again successes are not to that extent, not to the desirable extent. But the drones have, I would say, helped us a lot in wildlife conservation as such, and I'm sure that in near future we'll have better drones to target or to control or check these poaching cases also. Yeah.
So, participant, any further questions? If you have any question, you can write it on the Q&A section. Sir, I think that there is no more question.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. So, thank you, sir, for such insightful presentation, and I hope that the participants must have been from it. And thank you once again for joining for this session.
Thank you, Mohit, and thank you again to NASCOM also and the SCI also for inviting me. It was really good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.